What's up? What's up? Carlos Young in the building. This is Music Notes. This is my show. Okay, about it being a show, let's get right off to that actually. So today, we're switching it up. I've decided that it's not really so much a show as this is really a discourse um, on songwriting. And so we're just going to talk about songwriting. Now, it's not necessarily for your entertainment as much as it is for your edification as a songwriter and song lover. So, today I picked a cool song for us to go through. It's called Trampoline by, you can tell I'm not like a big time follower here, but Trampoline by Shaed. I'm just going to go out on a limb there. Shaed. Uh, Very cool song, a lot to talk about. I previewed it a little bit this time on tabs just to get ahead of the ball game a touch. Um, so yeah, that's where we're at. As far as the comments on the first shows, there was only one. This is the third show of many to come, and there's only one person. So you are the winner. I'll definitely touch base with you, and we'll get you your little gift here. You're gonna love it. I only say little because it actually is small. So, you know, yeah. Music notes. Trampoline by Shaed. Let's let's give a visit to genius.com. Usually a reliable source for who wrote what. This song is another song that's in the top 100 for last year, and this is the first song so far that doesn't have the same chord progression throughout. So that's interesting. I definitely want to get into how they maneuver from one chord structure to the next. And let's see what we got. Trampoline, produced by Alex Mendoza and Shaed. They don't say who the writers are. Let's see. Co-signed by Shaed. Okay, we're gonna say it's written by Shaed for now. This is a really good song. Like, let's get started. So, hypothetical origins. Where did this song come from? Let's look at the lyrics. Starts off with like a what I would call like a jump start, where the words come in and then the music comes in after the words get going. So, jumping on a trampoline, flipping in the air, I never land, just float there. As I'm looking up, suddenly the sky erupts. Flames alight the trees, spread to fallen leaves. Now they're right upon me. Waiting, I'm sorry. Wait if I'm on fire. How am I so deep in love? When I dream of dying, I never feel so loved. I've been having dreams. So, wow, this is like a deep one. Um, I would say the origin is definitely, hypothetically, uh, I would say coming from reflecting on an event that didn't go the way that you expected it to go, perhaps, but by that event going completely in an unusual direction and seeing your immediate reaction to that, you realize that you're in love. Like, I feel like this song is reflecting on um, the moment when you realize that you're in like a suspension of reality because you're so overcome with this loving feeling. Um, some people might think that's a good space to be. Some people might think that's a terrible space to be. Um, kind of your call on that. Not really my call. And that's cool, really, that the song doesn't really say either way. It just is a reflection. I never feel so loved. My body turns to ice, crushing weight of paradise. Solid block of gold, lying in the cold, I feel right at home. This is a very metaphorical song. It's not very obvious, like what's going on, what's triggering this reflection, other than a deep sense of turmoil. To be jumping on a trampoline, flipping in the air, but never landing is like anti gravity. That's like otherworldly. Just that's what I'm gonna say. The person who wrote this song realized that they're so into another person that they're doing things that they never expected, that time itself has shifted, and the song is like a series of metaphors for what it's like to be on that crazy ride of just being in love. Boom! Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. It's hypothetical. It's hypothetical. Origins. I'm gonna get some of those sound effects for real. Okay, structure. Structure on this one's pretty basic. Um, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, interlude, chorus. You might call the interlude a bridge. Um, yeah, once again, hit song, not departing very much from just a standard arrangement. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, interlude, chorus. I mean, this one I would say is even more fundamental because it drops the pre chorus. Um, perhaps less fundamental in terms of the now, or more traditional with the fact that the chord structure is changing also. Is that clear? Maybe. Hope so. In other words, it's been simplified and complicated a little bit in terms of right now. Right now, usually there's a pre chorus. Usually the chord structure is just used throughout. In, I don't know, maybe a time period 2 or 3, no, 4 or 5 decades ago, more chords would be something that you might expect a lot more. Um, structures even might have been more flexible. The pop model these days is a little bit dare I say, bland. It's kind of simple. It's just over. It's as simple as a song can get because when you talk about writing a hit song, what's going to make it a hit song is its ability to translate across the board. So, really, the simpler the better. Imagine that somebody is trying to understand your song for the first time, and the language that the song is in is not their primary language, not their first language. Simplicity is going to lend itself a lot to likability in that case because my vocabulary is limited. So I'm listening in English. The song is really simple. Let's look at the chorus. Wait if I'm on fire. How am I so deep in love? When I dream of dying, I never feel so loved. So simple rhyme scheme, literal, very literal A to A rhymes, like, or excuse me, yeah, you got the I in fire, then love, then the I in dying, and love again. So that's like pretty simple A B kind of a rhyme structure on the chorus. A little bit wordy by today's standards, I would say, but to me that's fine. I mean, that doesn't bother me at all. Obviously, it doesn't bother the listener a whole lot because this is a very popular song. But this is a little bit slower song too, so that's something to take into account here when talking about the structure and how it's put together. Because 64 BPM, that's not very fast. That's like almost time, right? 1 beat per second, or 60 beats per minute. 1 beat per second would be 60 beats per minute. Um, Here we're at 64. That's a very relaxed. So it's easier to get more words in. The pace is kind of just has more room naturally. If you're going faster, it's hard to put all those words in there. So it's balanced. It's slower. There's more words. There's a few more chord changes, but it's still a simple song in the sense that it's verse, chorus, interlude, chorus. I think that pretty much covers the fullness of. Okay, actually, one more thing. The structure. Let's look at the chords real quick. I would say something to note about the structure is how they change. The last chord of the chorus is a C minor. And the first chord of the last chord of the verse is a C minor. The first chord of the chorus is an E flat. So that's a move from like, let me see here. We're in G minor. I gotta cheat a little bit. G minor, da, da, da. So E flat is what? A six. And C would be a fourth. So that's from the 4 to the 6. And okay, and the chorus, we leave the chorus on G minor whenever it's done once. So we start off E flat, F, G minor, C minor, B flat, E flat, F, G minor, C minor, B flat, then D, G minor on like that final line, because you have basically two lines that agree: E flat, F, G minor, C minor, B flat, then E flat, F, G minor, C minor, B flat. Those two complement each other, and then you have the D and the G minor that are sort of standing on their own and helping to lead you into the verse, right? So I would have thought that maybe there would have been a little bit more use of dominant chords or the dominant relationship here, but from G minor to B flat is what, a minor third? And from C minor to E flat is also a minor third, right? So that's interesting. And then when we leave the verse, we could C minor to E flat. Going into the interlude, before we go into the interlude, we got two choruses or two iterations of the chorus, both identical, and except for the outgoing chord, which is uh, let's see, E flat, da, 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 B flat, E flat, da, 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 B flat. Okay, to the B flat, to the B flat, and then on the way out of the chorus, they throw in this D, which is a fifth from G minor, and it's not diatonic because it's a D major, which gives it even an added bit of tension to go into the interlude, which is always going to be kind of a tricky spot, you know, because a lot of time on the interlude, you're really breaking ranks pretty big time with the rest of the music, so you kind of need something to slingshot you into that a little bit. So it's a good place to put a dominant chord that's also a little bit odd, you know, in the sense that in this case it's a D major instead of a D minor. So it's a borrowed chord, and it's going to give a bit of interest as you go into the interlude. Boom. Okay, that's pretty much my full take on everything about these chords. That's kind of all that I notice here. Not too crazy. Six chords altogether. The D is only really used like twice. One, two, one, two, three. Three times. Oddly enough, according to this, the song ends on a D. I would have to check that. That's different. Doesn't resolve. It doesn't resolve to the G. Hmm. That's probably the most fascinating thing about this song, I would say, so far, to me. What's next? The arrangement. We kind of talked about that, but let's talk about the music of the musicality. I'm going to listen to it a little bit real quick. Anybody that watches this, I appreciate you rocking with me. Um, I am very much, to be honest, making this show up as I go because there are no really good examples of how to do this. And since you can't play the song, as far as I know, there's no way for me to play the song um, or to be able to consistently clear licenses to play songs. And I do want this to be something that could be in front of a large audience. So, anyway, I got to play my own original music and I got to just talk about the music. So, it's a little strange. Thank you for riding with me. Thank you for bearing with me. If you have any questions or comments, you want to say something about how I could do something better, definitely open to that. I'm going to be giving away something new, um, maybe twice a month. We'll see. Let's see what we do next. Okay, let's listen to this thing real quick. Trampoline. So first things about the arrangement. very sparse. Bass is very kind of rolled off, muted. Keyboards and percussion sounds are all very like lo-fi. A lot of frequency limiting going on there. Second time the verse comes around, get some cool backgrounds. Chorus, second time around, goes even sparser maybe. Then claps come in and it becomes almost like some dance stuff. Whistles. In the interlude, the main vocal has like a distortion. There's a lot of use of like drops. Instruments drop out. Vocals build with ambient sounds. And then on the final chorus, the background vocal is getting big and wild, like long. And then the ending is very notably abrupt. I would say that's everything I kind of noticed on the arrangement. A lot of cool use of effects. There's I wouldn't call them cameos, but there's a couple. Yeah, I would say the main thing with the cameos is little percussive instruments and sudden effect usage that kind of sauces it up a little bit. Okay, things about the melody. The melody, I would call it like pretty relaxed. Wait if I'm on fire. It's just pretty chill, you know? Another one that's like got a lot of heat on it, but at the same time, it's very like under control, you know? Is that the right thing to do? I don't know, but it seems to be a common thread here. We got a lot of like masterful control like of the overall performance. Some of that could be in the production, probably is, but just very controlled, but while having a lot of edge on it. You know, very important for performance quality to have some edge, some grittiness. You know, for me, I don't know. Maybe that's not your taste. Some things are very woo and just very round and smooth. I think contrast is the most important thing. Unanswered questions. I would say the biggest question for me, unanswered here, is she pleased that she's in love, or is she sort of troubled that she's been caught off guard by this love? And maybe wasn't ready for it. You know, because like it's not necessarily rejoicing going on. I never felt so loved. I'd say a big question is what does it mean? Wait if I'm on fire. And uh, why is it that when you dream of dying, you never feel so loved? Is it because you feel like if you were to die, the person that you love would feel your absence, and then by virtue of your imaginations of how they would feel if you were gone, you realize that you're deeply in love? I don't know. That's a question for me. Obviously, the question of how am I so deep in love is an unanswered question. Honestly, this one is very questionable in a sense that almost every line is kind of curious, you know? Like, my body turns to ice, crushing weight of paradise. Solid block of gold lying in the cold. I feel right at home. I'm not sure what to make of that, but it sounds really cool. So I think the biggest takeaway for me from that is like, stop feeling like you got to make your lyrics make a whole lot of sense because this doesn't have to make sense to me or anybody else for this song to be great. You know, it's done really well. It's a very enjoyable song. Production is good. The lyrics are interesting. It's compelling in a lot of ways, and yet I wouldn't claim to be able to understand it too much. I mean, I feel like it's obviously about being in love and some other feelings associated with being in love, but besides that, it's not too clear what it's really aiming at. I think that that's actually one of the like fundamental like tenets of good writing as a songwriter is to be very specific, but without being overly specific in certain ways. You know, we're bumping into 30 minutes here. I got 2 minutes to make it 30 minutes. So what does that leave? What does that leave? Let me talk about the show real quick. The show music notes, show slash active dialogue on songwriting called Music Notes by myself, by me, Carlos Young, is about songwriting in reverse. It's reverse engineering, let's say, of songwriting, of the songwriting process, for the sake of being able to turn around and forward engineer the songwriting process, you know, with the tool bag as observed from other songs, you know. So some of the takeaways from this song could be don't necessarily need a good pre-chorus if you don't want a good pre-chorus. Maybe you just want to go straight to the chorus. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. These people did it very well, and I would say a large part of that is there's like threefold kind of structure there for why it works. The production leads you through really well. Um, the performance leads you through. There's a lot of suspense built up in the arrangement and when instruments come in. It works because it all works together. Um, so yeah, it's knowing that and how it plays in, how the different elements play together in this song or in any other song. We've already covered mood and we covered some other one. And yeah, you start to see that there's a lot that's the same, even though the songs are super different. I wouldn't say these songs have anything really linking them other than the fact that they're made with the same 12 notes that all music is made from in this day and age. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this talk. Share it with somebody who loves music. Share it with a songwriter. Share it with a poet. Encourage somebody to grow as a songwriter. This is about you all and how I can help the world of songwriting sharpen itself up, be more expressive. These times are interesting to me for very obvious reasons to me that I won't go into and date the show, but every time is worth reflecting on, and every period of time is worth just logging of honest reflection from the point of view of the people who were there. So songwriting is very important because it gives another view other than just history book view. It gives another view. It tells you more so perhaps what the people are feeling and from that time, and just every little bit of it of how songwriting works speaks to what technology is available, what the climate was in that area. Were people happy? Were they sad? Were they dancing? Were they? It just all goes in. So again, I'm already a little bit over. This is Music Notes. My name is Carlos Young. I hope you enjoyed the show slash discourse. And we'll see you on Thursday, 8 o'clock. This time I will be there at 8 o'clock.